Alright, comic review time, and I actually did wait. Some of these I could have returned earlier, but I was like, yeah, just add a few more over the weekend. I did. There's one that I should have added, though. I should have finished by now. I did not. And it's another example of my poor time management skills. Hell, right now I should be doing this video this late. In a sense that I could have done it earlier, not that it's like super late. Gracie's Ghost. For a kid's book, this was surprisingly. When I say deep, I don't mean like it was super deep, but it was kind of like a Pixar almost, like a Pixar movie would surprise those who have never seen a Pixar movie. That was this for me, reading this. I had no idea who the author was. Now, it is from Image Comics, and usually they do know how to. That's just a publisher. But even still, like, they usually don't. Their kids' books, it's usually above like a silly diary wimpy kid kind of book. It usually has something else added to it. Again, like a Pixar or a DreamWorks. And this had surprisingly mature themes. Nothing that was gonna make it into a teen plus rated comic. But for a comic that was rated E for everyone, I was surprised what they covered. Absolutely recommend it. It's 96 pages, and even then is still a very quick read. I could knock this out in less than an hour, I feel. Definitely recommend. 8 out of 10. 8.5. Spectators. Putting the graphic back in graphic novel, because this one rivals Sex Criminals with how graphic the sexual content is. And it is pretty frequent, too. It's not... And when you would think, when I say it's pretty frequent, it would be like every 5 pages, and it lasts for 30 pages, especially for a book this thick. It... More the former than the latter. It is frequent, but it doesn't last like super long. It's not egregious or what's the word they use for sexual content in movies? I had it too. It's not egregious or too graphic or too. There's a point to it, and there's also a story to it too. It's not just porn. It's just a story to it, and the story is very interesting and unique. And what else can you expect from this creative team of Brian K. Vaughan and Nico Hendrickson? Definitely different than their Pret Baghdad. I read this back to back. One night I read Pret Baghdad. The next I read Spectators. So it was pretty eye-opening to read this right after Pret Baghdad, because they're both completely different genres, tastes, and even though they're both rated mature, one's definitely more mature than the other. Like, it earns the rating more than the other does. The other could have gotten away with a teen plus. But this, definitely worth checking out. And don't do what I did and read it all in one sitting, because you will feel the pacing and the length at that point. But honestly, not for long. At first I didn't really feel it, and it was more towards the end. But even then, it wasn't a super tough book to get through, because it was really damn investing. It was 344 pages, and it's one of those books that afterwards I was like, yeah, that was 344 pages, and I didn't feel every page. If it was more like 260, then I would say I felt every page. So it's 344, that's a lot when you think about it. When I think about it. Vindication. This one handles racism pretty well. Now, it does have some of the tropes of these kinds of comics, these kinds of media in general, but it really did handle a lot of the themes very well and very delicately, and it didn't try to be too one note, where the characters are written over, exaggerated, just to prove the author's point. No, they seem like realistic characters, and that is one major praise I've always given to this book, because I've read this several times. The last time I read it, I thought it was a bit too wordy. This time around, there's a lot of dialogue in this bitch. And it's more, this time around I noticed it was more just because they kind of needed to have that much dialogue to explain certain things. I was also, I think I'm thinking of in retrospect, is this is 4 issues. Maybe made it 6, polished out the dialogue a little bit more, and showed rather than told. But it's still, they explain things in dialogue that you could show, but it still explains it in a way that's not show, don't tell. It's that fine line between, I would argue. But definitely worth checking out, and this one gets a 7 out of 10. Oh, and Spectators got an 8.5. So 8.5 for Gracie's Ghost and Spectators. 7 out of 10 for Vindication. Space Mullet. It's my first Danny Warren Johnson series after Wonder Woman Dead Earth, and it's decidedly different than Wonder Woman Dead Earth in a really great way. This felt very unique, and the world felt very lived in. I love these types of sci-fi. I love the world of the sci-fi. I always like when they do things like that. It's not just, Star Wars or Star Trek, but it's still reminiscent of those two properties. So you still have that feel of familiar sci-fi, but it takes its own spin on it. And a lot of this book, I'm actually going to be even more vague than I was with my Instagram review. So one follow my Instagram, is look at my name, you'll find it, honestly. But no, it's not my YouTube name. It's the Multimedia Man 3. But I should really put that in my About section, my YouTube channel, my socials. But anyways, very good graphic novel, and a lot of surprising bits in here, and definitely a memorable one. It's not one I'm going to soon forget. And now I'll just do a power one for the next DWJ book. 8 out of 10. Clean Room. This is volume 2, so I'm going to be a bit quick with this one. It is really damn good. I am glad I reread this. Gail Simone knocks it out of the park. 9 out of 10. Friend of Baghdad. One of Brian K. Vaughan's best, deepest, and most hard-hitting stories of all time. Everything that he strove to cover, or strove to make the reader feel, and everything he was striving for in general with this book is 100% earned, and 100% earned. It's like he knocked it out of the park again, but he got exactly what he was going for in the best way possible. 10 out of 10. It's a must read for everybody. The Marvels. Finally a Kurt Busiek book I actually really liked. Really investing stuff. 8 out of 10. Domino. A big, beautiful mess. Sometimes it's entertaining, sometimes it's annoying, but I am glad that the library does not have the next volume. But even then, I'm also kind of disappointed, because the English series is only 3 volumes total, like around only 3 volumes. I would not mind reading this for 3 volumes in that same breath, but also it's not one I'm going to rush out to read the rest of the series. 6 out of 10. Why the Last Man and Scalped. Top 10, or top 5 actually. I don't think I need to say any more than that. 10 out of 10. These are both must reads. 100%. There's a reason why I am rereading Scalped pretty much just after I finished it.